Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got something pretty cool I want to show you today. Finally got my hands on the Savage B22 Precision. Finally got a chance to get out and shoot it a little bit, and figured I would talk a little bit about it, likes and dislikes. I'll probably stick true to the form of all my other videos. I won't spend too much time talking about the specs of the rifle because everybody seems to just talk about the rifle and never really shows performance. So I'll just go over a couple things. As you can see, it's sitting in front of you here. It's all factory. Nothing's changed. All the factory settings are the same, the torque specs and the trigger poundage. It's got an Arkin EP4 glass, and I won't spend too much time talking about that either because there's several videos of them out there. I will say, however, that I really like it. The turrets are probably one of the best in the business. I think it punches well above its weight for price. The reticle is really nice. It's almost a little bit too fine in my opinion. And another gripe I have about it is the parallax adjustment doesn't seem to want to focus past 500 yards, which is really weird. But you know, for this application, it being on a 22, probably not going to need to shoot it much past 500 yards anyway. So I don't foresee it being that much of an issue. And that's, let's see here, the trigger factory set was 11 pounds 9 ounces, a little bit lighter than I like, but it's a very, very good, crisp, clean breaking trigger. I don't know why they put that weird orange color on the blade, but that's not big of a deal. The action is really nice. It's really smooth. It's a 90-degree throw, which I don't particularly care for, but you get past it when you start to feel how smooth it is. I didn't have that many failure to extracts. The only ammo that I had an issue with was Wolf. For some reason, it just didn't really like to pull those out of the chamber. I would say I had probably 5 to 6 out of the 50 that I shot with the Wolf, but other than that, it really didn't have any issues with any of the other ammos that I tried. And failure to extract on 22 is just one of my biggest pet peeves. So I like it when I shoot a rifle that's pretty consistent. The scope base from the factory is 0 minutes, and I don't know if they have any plans to come out with some with any elevation, or if there already is. I'm not really sure. Another thing that I kind of don't like about this rifle is the magazine. Let's see if I can get it in focus here. Functionality wise, I didn't have any issues with it. It feeds okay, but these sharp little edges here where you have to push the round down, I don't mean to sound like a big sissy here, but after you do so many, it starts to hurt your finger. So you'd figure after seeing, Ruger mags or whoever other mags for about 50 years, they'd be able to come up with something better, but they didn't. This is what we got. And I also don't like this. This is the mag release. It's really hidden up inside the chassis. I'll kind of show you if you can see that there. So, I mean, nothing sticks out. It's actually recessed a little bit, so you kind of fumble around a little bit, and there's not much space between the action screw and the release, so you kind of fumble around to find it. But, like I said, I didn't have any performance issues with it, which is probably the most important thing. Okay, so, and as you can see, the action is really nice and smooth. Doesn't really get hung up. Was really pleased with it. Okay, so anyway, enough about the rifle. Start talking about the ammo. As always, I'll go worst to first. Tried 10 different types, and I only have one mag for it, so this took about 10 days. The first one I tried was the Eley Target. You can get this at your big box stores. I got this at Dunham's just because I was curious and wanted to see. It didn't shoot it very well, and you can see the groups here. The average was 1.326. It didn't shoot that very well at all, so that's definitely not worth the money. I've tried this stuff before and it hasn't worked well. So anyway, the next type is Aguila 22 Target Competiton. I've seen a lot of people asking me to try this stuff, so I did. Unfortunately, this rifle didn't shoot it very well at all in 2 minutes, averaging 1.06. And again, for most of you guys know that watch my videos, the groups on the left are for fouling. And what I have noticed actually on the fouling rounds, I've started to see where they only need to be about 10 to 15 fouling rounds for the groups to start to tighten up like they would normally. But I like to go ahead and get some more trigger time behind these rifles just to get used to them. So I don't feel like it hurts anything. But anyway, it didn't like this stuff very well, and these are all shot 50 yards, and I just used my calipers to measure as best I can center to center in these. So I'm sure the numbers could be a little bit better or worse, but that's just a quick measure as best as I can do. So okay, next. One of my more favorite ammos, this one didn't particularly care for, is Eley Force. It's 42 grains. I like to shoot this stuff out at distance, but I'll show you here. This one didn't really shoot it that well. I mean, the groups are pretty consistent, just not as tight as you'd like to see with that kind of expensive ammo. But I will say the ammo that is coming up, this gun really started to come alive. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. So that's Eley Force at 50, not the greatest, not worth the money out of this rifle anyway. And another one of my favorites that it didn't particularly care for, that's been pretty consistent for me, is Eley Target, and this is another round that's fairly expensive. It is last time I shot it, I think it was actually one super, but it's rated for 1090 on the box. I didn't shoot any of those through a chrono for no reason. So here's the groups with Target. As you can see, there's a couple good fouling groups. A flyer here and there would have been better ones. The bottom one was pretty good, under half an inch, but still you'd think this kind of ammo that's kind of expensive, you'd want to be closer to at least 0.6, but this one wasn't. So average 0.681, but most of those were pretty big. So anyway, this next one really surprised me because on all of my testing videos, this one seems to be towards the very front for being the worst. And this gun liked it. It's the Aguila 22 Super Extra. Now this stuff is supersonic, which is why I thought it was really weird that it liked it. But let's see here. I mean, you got a 0.48 there at the top, which is good for cheap ammo. This stuff's like $2 a box. So it's getting real close to averaging minute, slightly under 0.6. But for as cheap it is, it's performed out of this gun really well. Like I said, the unfortunate part about it is it's supersonic if you don't really have a place to where you can shoot non-suppressed. So Aguila Super Extra. Okay, so this was actually the last type of ammo I tried, and I ran out of stickers. This one actually surprised me more than the Aguila. Was Center-X. This rifle did not shoot Center-X very well. And this is probably the first one that I haven't seen it shoot it in the top at least 2 or 3. Yeah, I don't know. So sorry these dots are a little bit different. Might be a little bit harder to see. So it's still, I mean, when I say bad, it's averaging 0.582. Take out a flyer here and there and it's getting really close to a minute. But yeah, I mean, it's consistently in the 6s, so not bad, but I definitely wouldn't be wasting this stuff out of this particular gun anyway. But anyway, Center-X. Okay. Next was my personal favorite, I think everybody else's, Standard Velocity. And it starts to shoot it pretty well. It was averaging 5.42. This was actually the first type of ammo I tried, so it wasn't really zeroed yet. But as you can see, there's some really tight groups in there. You throw out 1-2 flyers, and it's averaging in the 0.4s. So, and those flyers could have been me. It could have been in gun. Oh, and I got to say, it was fairly windy when I was shooting this stuff. So if this rifle will be shooting groups like this in that kind of wind, I was fairly impressed. I think some of these groups don't reflect how well this rifle shoots. But anyway, this is CCI Standard Velocity. Pretty good. Getting real close to a minute. And I put about, after I was done shooting for groups, I went out and shot about 100 rounds of this stuff, and they were getting consistently better than this. I would say every group was almost at half an inch. So I know it'll do better than this. And this was a brand new rifle. It only been shot a couple times, so the barrel still could be probably breaking in a little bit. So anyway, there's CCI Standard Velocity. I was pleased with it. And I know people say, well, my gun shoots at 0.3 all the time. Well, I mean, this is a $500 22, so that's in my opinion, this is pretty good. So next, one that I don't really buy a lot of because my previous rifles haven't really shot it well, is Wolf. This is Match Target. So you can see it's averaging just about a minute. So I mean, there's some really good groups in there. You throw out that flyer on that .599, I mean, that's a single hole group. The top one .324. So I mean, you take one out here and there, and it's not just a tack driver. So that's Wolf Match Target at 50 yards. But again, this is the stuff that it didn't really like to extract very well, for whatever reason. So maybe it's made for Ben's chambers. I don't know. But there it is, almost a minute, real close. Next up I tried was something that's new to me. Eley Contact. You can get this in 300 round packs for like $30 or something. And the cool thing is they don't send it bulk pack. They send them in these hard cases, which is really nice. And this is also 42 grain. And this is rated for 1090, and it was going subsonic for me. I don't have the exact velocities, but it was for sure subsonic. Started to really bang in some groups here. As you can see, even on the fouling side, I mean, they were pretty much clover leafed, almost every group. That top one, again, to take out that flyer, and that's under half an inch. Second one from the top, .254. The bottom one's almost a single hole group, -1 flyer. So, I mean, this rifle really started to impress me when I got down to shooting this stuff. I was like, I might be onto something here. So, really happy with this. The overall feel of this rifle is good. I'll talk about that at the end, though. So, okay, the best for the day, which is something I've also never shot before. Another local Dunham's purchase. So they price gouged the shit out of you. Was this Remington Match EPS? It's Eley branded, and as you can see, it was $19.99. I think they had it marked down to like $14 or something. And then I was like, well, this is stupid. This is not going to be worth the money. But I was wrong. So here's the groups. Almost all of those except the top one are half an inch without a flyer. I mean, 2.3s, a .2, one under half an inch, .7. I mean, folks, I think that's as good as it gets. I mean, I'd put this up against anything, you know, especially for it being $500. So you got the rifle for $500 here, and $500 for the scope plus the rings. Yeah, I don't know. That's super good. I was really overall pleased with this rifle. So there that is. That was the best for the day. I guess my final thoughts on this were, if you're in the market for a $500-ish 22, buy this. And I'm still not sold on this one over the Tikka, but I've got slightly more in the Tikka. The Tikka action's better and the Tikka trigger's better. But if you're caught between, in my opinion, your CZ or your Ruger Precision or your Ruger American, scrap all those and buy this. It's very good, and I am happy that I had the chance to test it. I put probably, I would say 700 rounds through it, and I didn't have a whole lot of bad groups when I started shooting the ammo that it liked, so it's very consistent, and that's something that you really need in a 22. So anyway, hope this helps. As always, love to hear from you guys. Drop a comment. Love to discuss. Take care.